Hey spooks, welcome to Halloween Horror Stories with me, Emily Jane FX. If you want to see how I created this Annabelle makeup, and also if you want to hear about the real life Annabelle doll that inspired the story, then keep watching. So the real life Annabelle doll is not like this porcelain doll which is in the movie and this one that I'm doing the makeup for. It's actually a doll called a Raggedy Ann doll, which is like a doll with like red stringy hair and a little triangle red nose. And this doll came from a book which was written in 1918. The real Annabelle is housed in the Occult Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren, which is in Connecticut, USA. They've both passed away now, but all the spiritual items are still there. According to Ed Warren, most of the objects in the museum have had dire effects on people. He said that people have been maimed and killed. The real Annabelle was given to Ed and Lorraine after it exhibited malicious and terrifying behaviour. It was given to them by a student nurse called Donna in the 1970s. She initially contacted a medium about the doll after she started to find messages written on pieces of parchment around her apartment saying things like "help us." The doll also seemed to move around the apartment on its own. For example, she would leave the doll sat on the sofa and go out to work, and when she returned, the doll would be in the bedroom with the door closed. One thing that was particularly creepy was that the note seemed to be written in a child's handwriting. Another incident was that Donna once came home and the doll had blood splatters on the back of its hands. The medium told her that the doll had been possessed by the spirit of a dead child called Annabelle Higgins, who was 7 years old. The Warrens actually believed it was something even creepier than this. They said that Annabelle wasn't a child spirit, but it was actually an inhuman demon that was pretending to be a child. The final straw for Donna was when one of her housemates' boyfriends woke up in the middle of the night to Annabelle at the foot of his bed. She then walked up his body and tried to strangle him, and then the next day he had cuts all over his body. When the Warrens took the doll to their museum, on their way home, the car just wouldn't work, so the steering was failing and the brakes were failing, and they believed it was the doll doing this. The Warrens eventually got a special glass case made for Annabelle so that she couldn't get out of it, because she started to move around their house and escape from the cabinet. It's also said that any visitors to the museum who insulted or taunted the doll or said they didn't believe she was real all ended up in serious accidents, some even resulting in death. What do you think, guys? Do you think this is all just a hoax to get people to their museum? Or do you think that it's possible that the doll was possessed by a spirit? Let me know in the comments.